Grace and peace and the blessings of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you always. Increase our faith. It's the opening petition in our gospel this morning. We hear the idea of faithfulness throughout the scriptures this morning. Habakkuk teaches that faithfulness to Yahweh enables the upright to live. We hear St. Paul teach Timothy to be faithful to the gospel because it's something precious, sacred. And Jesus teaches the proper attitude toward being faithful. Not self-congratulation, but rather a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility. And Jesus teaches that the key to increase one's faith is to have the attitude of a servant of God. Because Jesus explains that growing one's faith is closely connected to humility, to following all that the Lord commands, humbly, diligently, and a deepening of our faith will naturally take place. Jesus also reminds us in the gospel about the mustard seed, the smallest of all the seeds. It's a reminder to us of how much God treasures those things that are small. After all, He came to us as one who was small himself, a helpless little baby without a home in a forgotten corner of an occupied country. And He feels a special affinity for those things in the world that are small, that are weak, overlooked, neglected, dismissed, and tiny. Consider for a moment what Saint Mother Teresa said, who dared, she said, that we must embrace the love of our God and those nobody else will even touch. That's how she lived her life and her ministry. She once said that while we may not only be able to do great things, we can all do small things with great love. That message has moved millions of people of all faiths throughout the world, even those who do not know Jesus Christ. Great things often begin with small things. So why do the apostles, the disciples, ask Jesus to increase their faith? I believe it's so they can extend to those they minister and serve a sense of prayer, an ability to forgive, and an ability to understand, an ability to love one another, and a chance to reach out to the smallest through each and every one of us. Because we're talking about faith, let's focus in on God's faithfulness to you and me. What does it mean to God for God to be faithful to each of us? God's fidelity is usually linked with His accepting love, His mercy, His compassion. Because God's forgiveness, God's fidelity are expressions of His deepening care for each of us. God forgives us so many times, it's infinite, and He calls us back. So great is His faithfulness and His love for you and me. This faith that the apostles seek an increase of is also a call to trust, belief, and confidence in our God. Because God is full of faith. He is confident. and He trusts each and every one of us. Hopefully, our confidence flows from His support and His trust and the encouragement He gives us. Because God chooses all of us today to be His trusted servants, to have faith the size of the mustard seed. Because He expects us to carry on His mission. But what is the mission? This call to service that we are all invited to. I think part of the mission is an invitation to respect life for every one of us. Respect life this Sunday throughout the diocese and the churches of the world are a call to stand for respect life for all, from the moment of conception to the time of natural death. Because respect for life, God's precious and unique gift, is a graced attitude that characterizes the children of God. This respect produces acts of love for one's neighbors and each other. This action, in turn, deepens our sense of respect for one another. Where does it begin? Where does it end? Only you can decide to stand up for what you believe, for you and how you live the gospel, how you are willing to fight for justice, for equality of human rights, against abortion on demand, against capital punishment, and so much more. To live out the gospel message of faithfulness to God and one another. All it takes is to have faith, faith the size of a mustard seed. Because within all of that, we are called to be service to each other. Service, a giving of ourselves and assistance to our brothers and sisters. Sometimes that can be quite easy, other times difficult, but the invitation is put before us each and every day. Can we be servants? Can we be of service to one another? God in His faithfulness offers us this call of service, of forgiveness each and every day of our lives. Jesus shows us how to be faithful by being a true servant. Jesus is a true servant of love because He gave His life for us on the cross. A true sign of love and faithfulness for all of us to live and embrace. An example that He gave for you and I. For He said, no greater love or service than to give one's life for one's brothers and sisters. I'm sure our service won't be as great as Jesus' dying on the cross, but it still is important no matter how large or how small it is. And so we can begin today as we celebrate the call of respect life. Because as the church focuses attention on one another, on victims of injustice, it must do so with a fidelity to the gospel that we live and for a call for reverence for all God's people. We must use all the resources of the church to care tenderly for the victim, to teach our own as well as our neighbors God's vision of dignity for each of His children, our brothers and sisters, and to stand up for this value in our society so that our society can live by faithfulness. This call today to increase our faith, to have faith the size of a mustard seed, and the need for respect for life is a version of what Jesus wants all of us to do. Tested as Timothy by society, our prayer to God, increase our faith, will be both a plea but also a pledge of our faithfulness. Because when our fidelity is translated into action, we will be a people who respect life and one another, and our faith, the size of a mustard seed, will impact the world in which we live. So let our prayer this morning be, Lord, listen with compassion to our prayers. Fill our hearts with gratitude for the gift of life we have, and with a profound respect for life and for all those lives that we will encounter, most especially all of your children. May we remember that every human being, at every stage and condition, is willed and is loved by God. For this